certainly have a couple options here because of where this pin is.
I want to never lose sight of the fact that Phil's the boss. Certainly he's my friend, but he's my boss, and I have a responsibility to do as good a job for him as I possibly can. I always want to be able to look at myself in the morning and the next morning and say, you know, I told him exactly what I thought. He wouldn't change a thing.
Long tenures in the often volatile caddy-player relationship are rare. Jim Mackay, better known as Bones, has been the trusted bagman and strategist for 15 years.
Right where I wanted to leave it there, Bones. Should be perfect.
The first time I ever caddied for him was at a U.S. Open qualifying in 1992. 36 holes in one day, and he shot 69 the first round, and it was going to take another one of those to qualify for the U.S. Open in the second round. He broke the course record, and he hadn't played a practice round. Even though he was coming off this amazing amateur career, I was still blown away that a guy could be that good at age 22. Early on, my eyes were wide open as to how good a player he was.
What Mackay sensed quickly materialized. With swashbuckling bravado, Phil charged out of the blocks with 10 victories in his first 5 full seasons.
First professional tour victory for 22-year-old Phil Mickelson, and you suspect quite probably the first of many.
And there were many more. 20 titles in his first 10 years, 7 multiple-win seasons, and 5 top 6 finishes on the money list. Mickelson's star was on the rise.
Only fitting.
He can celebrate a 4th title of the year.
26-year-old Phil Mickelson has been top gun today.
But a decade of success was tempered by disappointment in the majors.
I've got a hunger, twisting my stomach into knots.
The style of play where he screwed up so many chances to win major championships, I think that polarized some people.
Phil did not have the mindset for major championships. His ego was off the charts. He used to try shots that he shouldn't try in major championships. That was the story of Phil Mickelson through that 0 for 42.
I've got some issues with my own game. I made 4 bogeys again today. I've made 2 doubles the last couple of days, and I'm just throwing shots away left and right.
Some numbers were not as easy to digest. 17 top 10s in the majors, 8 times in the top 3, but 42 attempts without a victory. Time and time again, Phil pounded on the door, but couldn't get through.
He put on a nice performance today, just a little too late with those birdies.
The people, especially New Yorkers at Bethpage and Shinnecock, wanted it as much as the Californian himself.
He's someone who a lot of people expected to do well in majors for a long time in his career. He struggled basically for his first decade out on tour to cash in.
Yet as the near misses in the majors began to add up, his loyal fans began to multiply as well.
Before Phil had won a major, I think one thing that endeared him to people was the fact that he was an underdog.
I think people can relate to him because no matter what their job is, there's been a situation where they have put everything they have into a goal or into something that meant the world to them.
Sports fans love to root for the underdog, and in the likable, sometimes almost sheepish Mickelson, they had their man.
Always respectful, always appreciative, always acknowledging, almost to the point that he looks embarrassed for having success.
He's a little bashful. Sometimes you'll hear a commentator say something like, he almost seems a little bashful about that shot. He is, and he tries not to let it show, but it comes through.
People say, well, he's always smiling, win or lose. What does Phil always say? That I'm getting paid a lot of money to do something that I love, and it's a lot of fun. And I think he really means that.
In order to shed the major championship albatross, Phil Mickelson knew he had to make a change to harness his naturally aggressive style and become a more consistent shot maker. It was a move that went against the grain of Phil's personality. So to execute the change, he turned to 2 men he knew could help.
I met Phil when he played in the U.S. Open in Oakland Hills. And I looked at this kid. I said, this kid's got so much talent. He's the most talented person I've ever seen that's ever swung a golf club.
What happens next? What happens next?
High praise coming from a well-respected instructor who has worked with Jack Nicklaus, among others. Smith, along with former NASA scientist Dave Pelz, embarked on reinventing Mickelson's game.
It was fun to be part of the team when he really said, what do we need to do? Let's sit down and have a plan. So it was about creating a plan that was technique-oriented, but it was also strategic.
The plan led a well-oiled machine to victory in 3 out of 9 majors.
You need proper guidance. If I didn't have the guidance from Rick with my golf swing, from Dave in my ways to practice and how to prepare for majors, I wouldn't have been able to have gotten to the position where I'm at, where I can take that time to go work on my game. And so it's been a team effort by everybody.
They bring a lot, and the great thing about those two is that they are wildly different in terms of what they bring, and I think that's great for Phil. What Rick obviously does is work on Phil's swing with him, and Pels brings, you know, this very scientific, analytical approach to getting better that at times just leaves you scratching your head going, that's so simple, but nobody else does it.
Everybody has something to contribute at specific times, and we all know kind of our roles, and we care so much about him, you know, through the good and the bad, and we're so proud that we're actually involved with him because of the fact that he does have all the talent.
I came across some incredibly positive, smart, giving individuals, and for them to make sacrifices and give so many days a year to me, I've committed to them to trust what they have to say, work with what they have to say, and see if we can together get better.
I want more than just okay, more than just okay.
It's really been a great experience for me to be involved in that. In that, if there's a transformation, it was more than anything else. It was just watching this guy just start to get to that potential. And at this point, even today, we've not even seen him at his best yet.